7 o'clock. All members in attendance?
Yes.
If you take a look at the minutes from September 10th, 2025, and if I can get a motion to approve them.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 2025 Public Works and Safety meeting.
I have a motion from Mr. Cooney. Can I get a second?
I'll give it a second.
Second from Mr. Price. Is everyone on board here? We can get on to the fund reports.
And we have to approve.
We have to
minutes.
vote.
Oh, let's take a vote. All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion passes. Okay. Now let's take a look at fund reports. Anyone have any questions? Discussion? Any discussion or questions for me? Okay. Let's move on then to the claims recommendation. Can I get a motion to approve $277,063.35?
I move that we approve the claims recommendation in the amount of $277,063.45.
I have a motion from Mr. Cooper. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Ms. Martinez. Any questions or discussion?
I just have a question about the one large item. I'm guessing it's the payment for the park. And how much of the total payment is that?
That is,
I'll keep that later, Tony.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, Tony. It's about half, a little
Yeah.
over
a
half.
little over half, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll wait.
give him that.
Okay. Yeah, that's all.
That is a good question.
Any other questions? All those in favor of approving the claims recommendation for $277,063.45, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion passes. Let's take a look at the payroll distribution, in the amount of $19,713.87. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the distribution detail, excuse me, in the amount of $19,713.87.
I have a motion from Mr. Cooney. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Who was that? Was it Dale?
Mr. Price.
A second from Mr. Price. Any discussion or questions? No? All those in favor of approving the payroll distribution for $19,713.87, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion passes. We are on to the police department, chief.
How are you doing? So the first thing I want to talk about is our 2017 vehicle is the one we were decommissioning. It's got over 200,000 miles on it. It's not in good shape. Usually when we auction those off, we get about $2,500 for them. And then we have to pay $600 to take all the lights and everything off. So Indiana Law Enforcement Academy has a donation program that we can donate vehicles to them, and they give us credit hours. And the credit hours, what we do is we use those for when we need to go out and use the track, the firing range. They charge us for that. So we could use credits to use it instead of paying for it. So they looked at it, they valued the car at $5,000, which is about 2,000 credit hours. So that would give us about 3 to 4 years to be able to use the facilities out there and not have to pay. So I'm asking permission from the board tonight to donate that vehicle to ILEA for the 2,000 credit hours.
So can I get a motion to approve the donation of vehicle 17-3 to ILEA for credits? 2,000 credits?
Make a motion to approve the donation of
Vehicle
17,300
17
for credits for ILEA. Chief, will they give us some kind of receipt or documentation?
Yeah, well, once we send them the title, they'll send us a form, I think a donation form. Are you shaking your head no to me?
I have a motion from Mr. Cooper. Can I get a second?
Sorry, I jumped the gun, but I was curious.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Martinez. Okay, any other questions about that? Or
How
discussion?
many points?
I'm sorry, it's 200 points. I said it's 200 credit hours.
2,000 sounds really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm adding to it. And they said, you had a zero on it. Yep.
So it sounds like we could get, kind of like double the bank
Yeah.
if we would only get 2,500 for it and then have to pay.
And we pay 600 to take the lights off.
Will they take care of that?
They use the lights out there. So what they do is, all the police officers in the state of Indiana go there to do EVO. So they use those cars for training. So they'll have the lights on and that kind of stuff when they're driving. So to try to make it a police car, because instead of just having a car with no laptop stand, that's not, real life. So that's why they like when they get the police cars like that.
So it sounds like we get a lot better value if we do this than trying to sell it and then still have to pay ILEA for.
I mean, our goal was to get rid of it sooner, but it was in better shape. And what we wanted to do was sell it to a smaller town that couldn't afford a car for $5,000 or $6,000. It's not very reliable, and ILE has its own mechanics, so they can work on it and all that. So it just seemed like a better deal. They need the vehicles, we get more money out of it. So it's kind of a win for everybody.
All those in favor of donating vehicle 17-3 to ILEA, say aye. Opposed, none, motion passes.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. The next thing is the Beach Grove patrols. So we were asked by Beach Grove to work a 20-hour shift from 9/27 of this year to 9/28. They had an officer killed 25 years ago in the line of duty, and they had a nice concert and everything downtown, so they blocked the street off. So we had officers volunteer to pick up those. We ran 2 10-hour shifts, 4 to 5 on a shift. We had some come in tax shifts, so we had some extra help. But I just kind of want to give you, they did 30 calls for service, they did 10 traffic stops, they made 2 arrests and did 4 reports.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot for one day.
The nice thing about it for us was, it really opened their eyes to how proactive we are here and how we keep the run loads down. And then when you go to another town or city that's a little bit bigger, kind of what they saw there. So it was, I think it was good for them to see it work it. But they were very appreciative, and I thought it was something that I'm proud that we could do to help support their, officer and her family. So that's just strictly for your guys' information and all that stuff. We have been getting some calls, why were they in Beach Grove? But that's the reason why. So any questions on that?
So how many officers did we actually have work those shifts?
I think the total was ended up 10 or 11 total.
We had 9.
9.
9 officers.
And it was really good. They gave us access to their police department. They bought them pizza to eat. And if you've never been in their police department, it's like the Taj Mahal. So they got leather recliners. So think of that next year. It'll be on the budget for next year. Couches and
Enjoy your seat here with us.
yes, it's a nice place. But it was a good time. And like I said, I'm pretty proud of you guys for stepping up and doing that for
That's great.
that cause anyway.
So 25 years ago, I didn't realize it'd been that
I
long.
didn't either till he said
Was
it.
this Laird?
Officer, no, this is Officer Tony from Beech Grove. Yeah, they just actually executed the guy who killed him about a month before his 25th. So it took 25 years to get to that point. So, okay, so the next thing we got on our list is 2 ordinances. I'm going to start off with the fireworks ordinance. If you remember, we had several complaints after the 4th of July about debris in other neighbors' yards, noise going on for all hours of the night. So we sat down with the ordinance board and looked at this one. There's one change I would like to make on this. If you go down to number 3, it says fireworks should be launched no more than 25 feet from a neighboring property. We're thinking it should say less
No less than.
than instead of more, so I'd like to make that change to that. And then have it approved with that change on it. Really, the state gives you the hours of when you can fire off fireworks, so it's actually a state law. So we have that in there. Really what we added in was the 25 feet from your neighboring property. I don't remember if you guys remember, we had one resident come in with a 1.5 pound bag of trash and took out of her yard, which is still in my office if anybody would like to see that. So we said that, you can't aim anything towards another one. And then you have to clean up your mess afterwards. So that's the changes we made to ours. So if I could get you guys to vote on that, I would appreciate it.
Can I get a motion to approve the fireworks ordinance?
I make a motion that we approve the fireworks ordinance as updated.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Cooper. Do I have a second?
I have a second on it, provided that the wording's changed on that.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Price. Any other discussion or questions about it? Okay, can I get a vote then? All those in favor of approving the fireworks ordinance with one change on here as mentioned, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none? Motion passes.
All right, so the next one we have is the noise ordinance. If you looked at ours, it went back 50 years ago, probably it was made. So we did a lot of, we were looking to make a lot of changes to it. Instead, what we did is we looked at some of the similar cities around us. So I believe this one is actually from Beech Grove. And I don't think there's anything really, the only thing we did on theirs was at the end, no, we actually took their fines. So first offense is $75, the second one's $500, and the third's $2,500. And then each additional offense will be set at $1,500 at the officer's discretion, and fees assessed by the court if they're found guilty. So that's kind of what we added on towards the end of that. So if I can get a motion to approve that, I would appreciate it.
Can I get a motion to approve the Southport noise ordinance?
I'll make a motion to approve the Southport noise ordinance.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Martinez. Can I get a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second from Mr. Price. Any discussion? Anyone want to talk about this? It kind of, I did notice that it seemed like there were a lot of, at my first reading, it seemed like there was a lot of different times.
Right.
And you kind of have to hone in on, depending on what the noise is, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, it's detailed.
And one of the things I liked in it, it does say on some of those, it's up to the board's discretion on.
Right, like what we do when you mentioned when we do construction.
Right, like when we did the
Up
apartments.
it, give it an extra hour after or before.
Yes. So,
And then I had the question, I want to run a jackhammer
yeah,
at my house.
yeah, after your new neighbor moved in, that's
Yeah.
the call.
The answer's no.
Yeah, how soon can
Let's
I?
take a shovel.
6 a.m. Okay. Any other questions about the ordinance? No discussion. Can I get a vote to approve the Southport noise ordinance? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Passes.
Okay, next thing on the police side of it is we were approached by a health and hospital in Eskenazi. They are going to become their own police department, is their goal. And they went out to ILEA, or the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and asked if they could put 65 people in their academy, and they laughed at them and said, no, we can take 10. So once you become your own police department, you only have 1 year to get all your officers trained, or they cannot be police officers or paid as police officers. So they approached us with doing an academy for them. And that's something that we met with their director. I guess he's like a major with them, Valerie. He's seeing myself, and then major roush. IOEA charges $500 a person. They have a new physical fitness standard that we have to do. And so there's like a 150-pound dummy we need a fence to jump over and all that stuff. So we talked to them about charging $500 an officer if they would purchase and donate the fence and the dummy
Yeah.
as part of doing it. We're in the early stages of it, discussion. We actually did get a call from the director of ILEA, and he was very supportive of it, which is good. I mean, they're usually not. So we're looking at that. So once we get more details and we get it together, just kind of want to give you guys a heads up that's coming down and see if there's any issues you have currently. And then, like I said, we can discuss it as we go, and then we will come back and get a vote on it from you guys
Okay.
once we get it all set up.
So our officers would run it out there?
Well, they have some instructors already, so we'll run most of it here. They do have buildings we can use for like building searches and bigger events that we need to do, but most of it would be ran out of here.
So we could do, we've got the space to do the,
They can't do all 65 at once anyway, so they'll have to do at least 2 academies and split it in half. Just because they have to still secure the hospital and all their off-site locations. So there's a lot of, that's why I said, we're in the early stages of, there's a lot of little details we gotta look at. And like I told them, if they, at one point they wanted to do 15 at a time, and I said, we're not running 5 academies in a row, that's not worth my time. I don't mind helping you, I think it's a big, I mean, I'm really excited they came to us. I mean, that says a lot about what we do and how we train. It's just us in Boone County now that do it outside of ILEA. So for ILEA to recommend us and then reach out to us says a lot about the training that we're putting on. So, like I said, we told me to sit down and look at it and do that. It would be something that we ran Monday through Thursday, probably during the day, just to get it done in an 8-week time frame so that we're not doing 4, 5, 6 months. So it'll be a lot different hours than what we normally do. So, but that's kind of where we're at with that. Has anybody got questions on that? Any concerns?
Would you do that next year?
It'll be next year, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, they're applying to become a police department. So right now, if we were to do it today, ILEA wants me to make all 67 reserve officers because that's the only way they can sponsor go through the academy. And I'm not real hip on doing that, so I guess is the word I'm looking for. So they're in the process of getting that, so it's kind of seeing how fast they can get that going, be approved, and then run it that way versus making them all reserves for 8 weeks and then firing them. Because that's how we would have to do it.
Okay.
And that was our question with the director, because I said, well, we just had this bill come out where you're saying all these badge factories, and I don't want to be looped into that. I'm doing them a favor and ILEA by being able to accommodate that many.
And we're not the badge factory.
Right, yes. And so that's some of the talks that we had.
Good. Right, that's a kudos to our police department and our program and to you and me.
Yeah, I was real excited about that.
That's great.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but I think it says a lot about what we do here in the city and how we do it. So I was proud of that.
Good for you guys. Good for
so
us.
Chief, do we then, will we get that as income for the
Yes.
department?
Yeah, so the $500 a person will come in, it'll go into LECE. So that's, revenue we can use later for ballistic vest or whatever we do.
So if we do all 65, it'd be over $30,000, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my math's right in my head, yeah. Plus the dummy's about $1,200.
Oh, and they're gonna purchase that and the materials for the fence.
Yeah. So it seems like a win-win for everybody, but we shall see. I don't know if we see if there's any more hair, so we'll have to check this one out.
Well, maybe on the side.
Any other questions? Okay, Christmas with the Kids, we're starting to get donations for that. We've already reached out to the school. I know she has the form to do it at Southport Elementary again. We're targeting 40 to 45 kids from Southport Elementary. And we're giving them, it was $350, wasn't it? $350 a child. So If anybody would like to donate, they can bring the money here. If you're writing a check, it goes to Indiana Baptist.
Yeah, Irvington First Baptist.
Yes, Irvington First Baptist. That's Captain Smith's church. They're a non-for-profit so that they can use it as a tax write-off also. So we'll get all that information out, but if you got a little extra cash hanging around, the little kids will love it. Last thing I got for the police side is I will be on vacation from November 3rd to November 14th, out of state. So DC, you're in good hands. It's all his. Try not to make him lose more hair before I get back. I got other plans for him, but
What's his hair?
I don't know. I was gonna mess with the dude, but I left it alone. All right. Any questions on police stuff? No. All right. Going on to public works. We replaced one of the fans in the men's bathroom here. We also had to repair the urinal. A couple years ago, we hooked up it's a cable that runs in and it's supposed to get rid of the hard water. It evidently isn't working or strong enough, so they're looking at fixing that, but they had to take that off and get all that hard water out so that it actually worked. Donna brought in her steam cleaner and steamed all the carpets, so I thought that was very nice of her. Vehicles are in good working order. And now to the fun stuff. And I'll answer your question, all right? Let me start with the hand. No, let me start with the park. So, if you remember, when we did the bids for the park project, the lowest bid came in at $665,000. And everybody, including the engineer, had a heart attack because we only have $400,000 to spend. We had some discussions on things to take off. We got that number down to the 400,000. Problem is when Willie was the one who did the bids and made the deal on what we're taking off, he passed it along to Brad to do the project, but failed to pass on what we were not doing. So we got our first bill that was, would have been half at that point, if we went by the 665. So Alyssa had a mild heart attack, screamed at me, I went back there. So we had a meeting with Brad this morning, and we looked at those cuts we were supposed to make. Luckily, we called them right before they did that work, so we were able to figure that part out. But so right now, we're currently at 409,000 and some change, which the clerk treasurer thinks that we'll be good on the 10,000 that we're over. That's also with
Donations.
the donations. Sorry, kids, you don't get any donations. That also includes, though, me going to the stormwater board on Monday and asking them to help with the cost of the stormwater to be able to get that down to that 410,000.
We've already done that.
We did, but I didn't have a number. I have a number now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go try to get permission from them to spend that amount of money. I will, did he give us that or did he email it to us, the breakdown?
He was kind of chicken scratch, so it really doesn't think.
Yeah. So, oh, you're right here. Yeah, so we cut it back. So we're asking stormwater for $167,094.73. We cut out another 55, 78, about 90,000 off. One of the things they wanted to do was redo the dumpster pad and enclosure. The Parks Department last year, or earlier this year, already put the fence around it.
Yeah.
So we said there's no reason to
Yeah, we
demo
nixed
that
that.
anyway. One of the other issues we found today was we asked for a quote on fixing the sidewalk on the the south side of the building that's sinking. They were supposed to get us a quote. I noticed today they've already demoed it and got rid of the pergola. So we'll have some conversations about that. We're supposed to be done by the 17th. Now they think it's the 18th.
Right.
So every day they're over, they actually owe us money. So we're kind of working out a deal with, since you're late and you've already done this, can we call that even?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of let's make a deal today. I think we're good. I felt better. Did you feel better? So that's where we're at with that project. And one of the things I did send you guys was the handrail. If you remember, the first handrail was outrageous. So by going with this one, we actually saved $35,000 off this handrail.
Wow.
So from what I understand, the other one had like pickets that went all the way down it, so it's kind of like a wooden fence type looking thing, I don't know. The only, I guess, concern I have with this guardrail is it is painted gloss black. So the upkeep on that is gonna be more, every couple of years, we're gonna have to sandblast it, paint it, or whatever, or however long it lasts. That'd be my only concern with this one. But seeing where we're at with money, I don't know that we have a lot of choices in this matter.
And where is this handrail being put? It says park.
Yeah, so you remember you got the wall up front now, so anything that's over 30 inches has to have a handrail. So it'll be along the wall on the top part, like you're coming out of the building, and then down the ramps and down the stairs.
Okay.
So if you haven't been over to look at it, the ramp looks really good.
Yeah, it does look.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to go on record that you did send me the email with this. So it's on the
Okay.
record.
It was a debate in my office whether I did or didn't.
Apparently you were correct.
I did. I thought I did. I was pretty sure. I was pretty confident I did.
Send that to me.
So yeah, that's where we're at with the park project. So right now, we're looking at 1 day over the completed. If you look at it, I don't have a lot of faith that it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a week, especially if we get any rain or weather like in Indiana always gets. So we'll have to go from there. We do have one rental on the 19th, so we're trying to get them to nail it down. Our goal is on the 16th to pave the lot. If they can do it on that day, then the 19th, we can still have the rental. But we're just gonna have to see. They keep finding more things when they're over there. One of them, they're supposed to replace the little concrete in front of the garage that sits to the south of the building. When we tore up the concrete along where the old police department used to be on the west side, it was 7 inches thick of concrete.
Oh my God.
We don't know why. So they're really afraid to start breaking up that concrete there because they don't know how far it goes into the garage. So I told them, don't worry about that, patch the crack and just go around it. So we're gonna save at least $5,000 by not replacing that. So we'll see how it all turns out. But that's kind of where we're at with the
And on the handrail, we have kind of a parks or maintenance guy on staff, so, if he has to spend a day to paint it. he can paint it.
It's kind of like the playground equipment. One of the things that if you don't sandblast it and you paint it, it'll chip off by the end of the year. That's the problem that's over there now. They did sandblast at that time. The last time we did it was like 5 years ago, and we sandblasted it and it lasted that 5 years. So yeah, I mean, that's the only thing, just kind of looking at that. And again, how much use, the playground gets a whole lot more use than I'm thinking a lot of those handrails are going to. So we'll just have to kind of work on that.
You said about the 18th is when they're scheduled to.
18th is their be
Their
done. Yeah, is their due date. 17th was the final date. And so it's been pushed back at least 1 day that we know of.
And it's kind of shocking a little bit only because originally when we sent it out to bid, it was supposed to be
30 days.
30 days. And then a contractor in the pre-construction meeting said, no, we would need an extra 2 weeks. So we said, fine, let's do that. But, so they should be able to do it. They run across a lot of different things with.
Yeah, and one of the problems over there is that building's 3 different buildings put into one. So the garage, the community room was just an open garage at the beginning of all of this. And then they added on the Perry Seniors and then the police department. And then that added on the mayor's office later. So we have different decades of footers, how they're built and all that. So when they got right up to the building, that's where we started running into a lot of problems. And then if you're right there where the Perry Seniors and then those other doors that used to be the outdoor bathrooms, it dips real bad. So we have grade problems and we have all kinds. So we knew that was gonna be the majority of the time they would spend, to be up there against the wall. They do have all the, the majority of the storm drains in and that kind of stuff. So if they can get the wall and all that taken care of, the rest of it literally is just paving. And if that's it, they can do that in a week. I mean, as long as the weather. So I don't know. But again, they got the downpour yesterday, which slowed them down a little bit because they were out there actually working until downpour and then they came back after. So we'll have to see. Okay, Bob cut some trees back on stop 10. They couldn't see the lights over there. So we talked about doing a drive-through pad from that, the parking lot to the northwest to here. The stairs have been ran over 3 times by cars. I guess they can turn left there and drive over it. So I did get a quote for that, and that's something that we will have to put on hold probably till next year. Hold on, man, it's in all this stuff. Okay, it's 25,000. I know it's in this stack, but it's about $25,000 to just do that. That would be concrete, not asphalt, because concrete is actually cheaper than asphalt right now. The other issue that we're going to have is I'm going to have to sit down with Perry Township Schools because the grade going down is too steep. So if you had a trailer or a lower car, it would drag. So if you're looking at their parking lot butting up to the memorial or the grass, they would lose about 1 parking spot on each side, and we'd have to grade that out, put grass there, and then put the drive. So I've reached out to Kirby, who does all that for them. Still haven't got a response, but I haven't got the response for the last 5 I've sent him. So I think I'll drive over and see him one day, and we'll sit down and see if that's something that they will do with us, not cost-wise, but at least give us the permission to do it. I think it'll help their people out too, because there's several that come down thinking they can get out and then have to turn around and go back. So I don't think it'll be an issue getting it done through them. I think it'll just be time-consuming and pulling out the rest of my hair.
Is that parking lot full at any time? It doesn't seem like it's.
When they have conferences and stuff like that,
It is?
it'll get a little full, but yeah, not as much. When they first moved in, it seemed to always be, but I don't know that they do that much over there. I think they have about a quarter of it they use.
So if they lose a spot,
The spot's not gonna bother them at all. It's just going through all the loops of the school
Right.
corporation to say, yes, you can do it. That'd be about it. Because at first it was just a drive. That would have been a big deal, but when you start tearing up or asphalt and laying grass, probably ought to ask somebody. Not that they ask us, but, Chief, yeah.
I see on the report about surveying at Church Street Alley, which is.
Tell me who's ahead of the game.
You're going out of order. Is there how you get? No.
Okay. Is there a baseball game or something?
No.
Yeah, give me just a minute, I'll get to that one next, because that one's a little, it's got a little more to it. I'm sorry, I wrote the, so it's $25,302, I wrote it right here on my paper.
oh, so you're close.
To do that. So, we were kind of hoping we had some money left over in general fund under Public Works, but we're not gonna have that much. So it's something that we'll have to sit down and look at next year if it's something we can do or not. But just kind of an idea for you guys, to look at. And just because Tony asked them, I'll leave surveying it till the very last one. The stop work, we put a stop work order on the Oddfellows building again today. He's cutting, he wants bigger windows in the sides of it. So he's adding about double of what he has on there. And when it first started, he decided he was going to be the general contractor, so he came in to get a license. He's filled out that portion, he paid for that, but he did not get liability insurance. So we put a stop work order on him last week, I guess. Yeah, so again, today we drove by and they were putting windows in. So we put another stop work order on him today because he still hasn't had his insurance. Now the windows they're putting in the front are existing windows. He hasn't cut any, make those bigger or anything like that. So he doesn't need a permit for that, but he needs his license. The windows on the side and the back that he's actually cutting out through the brick, he needs a permit for. We've had this conversation 3 times. He keeps saying he doesn't need workman's comp insurance, which is not what we're asking for because he's contracting everybody. But he needs liability in case the building falls on Southport Road and kills somebody or somebody inside working. So now he's asked to have a meeting tomorrow to make sure we're all on the same page. So the clerk treasurer, myself, and Tim Lawson, our building inspector, and his employee are all on the same page. He's just the one who's not. So that's where we're at with the Oxford building. And your permit update all at the same time. Now tell me, the survey. So if you go down Church Street, and what's the name of that alley? You guys actually named the alley. What's the name of the alley? Has it got a name?
Jefferson.
No. So you're past Jefferson, you're going south. If you pass the apartments, there's 2 other houses, then there's actually an alley that you turn left on.
Dant Alley.
Yeah, we'll call it their alley, we'll call it, I don't know. So if you go down that alley, as you proceed to that alley over to Walnut, there's another alley that goes in between the houses. And it dead ends to the property line for the apartments.
Okay.
All right? So we've had some issues with a resident over there who thinks it goes where her property line ends and begins. So that alley's been maintained by one resident over there for 40 years or so. They've taken care of it, they've done all that. So if you remember a couple months ago, I came in and asked permission for the residents that want to donate the gravel to be able to pour the gravel. And the board gave permission for that. So that, they did that. They had the gravel poured. The resident that lives behind them was unhappy with the way it turned out. And then they had complaints about the privacy fence that stops the alley from going into the apartments. They said that was illegal, which it's not. If you look at the research through the records, the very first mayor decided that they didn't want people driving into, I don't even know if I guess the apartments were still there then, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were driving down the alley through their yard where kids play and all that, so they put up a privacy fence. So that was the first argument, that the privacy fence was illegal, and it's not. So we went through that. Then the resident decided, so on either side of the alley, the one resident cut it all from their property all the way to the other alley, which was fine for the 3 years that the new residents moved into. Then they decided that, no, they'll go ahead and cut it. So that was fine. But now what they're doing is putting brush and sticks as close to the alley as you can possibly get without, so that when cars drive down, they don't have a lot of room. So spoke to her while you were on vacation, and she cut it up, put it in she made something to hold it because she's saying it's firewood, which is fine. So they're in compliance there. Last week we decided we're going to go out and put stakes or sticks against the alley gravel and their yard. So it's just gotten out of hand to where I really wanted to do a survey so that I could say, your property line ends here. This is city of Southport. Stay off of it, whatever. So we had the engineers look at it. If we want a survey done that would be court legal, go to court if something happened, it's $15,500.
16?
Whoa.
$15,000. If you want one just off plats, trying to get it as close as we could possibly get it, it's $10,000. So I think my frustration with this is, one, it's not the city's responsibility to survey your yards, right? We don't do that for anywhere else. But I don't know how we're going to stop or control the issue from the one neighbor to the east of the alleyway. So that's kind of where we're at there. Like I said, I can't recommend that we spend $10,000 for a survey. I can't do that. We have GIS maps. The problem is with the map, you don't know how thick the line is. If you look at the lady who lives behind them, where her privacy fence is usually where the right-of-way is. The city owns about a foot or so off the alley into this resident's yard. So, I don't have a good answer for you. I just said I would ask permission to get a quote. You guys said yes, so I'm bringing it back to you. I mean, I can't see spending that type of money on that.
Set a bad precedent too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, plus it's, taxpayer money.
If we don't do it, what kind of headaches, will we continue to have these kind of headaches in the future? I mean,
I think so. One reason why I say that is, it seems to be, it's always confrontational. It's the same thing when I went over and said, hey, these logs and tree limbs that you had behind your house that nobody saw, I don't know why you dragged out to the alley or close to the alley. But now you have 10 days to cut it up, dispose of it. I don't care what you do with it, but it's got to be. Then when my chainsaw's broken, again, not my problem. I mean, get somebody to help you. Which I thought was funny because that was on a Friday. On a Saturday, evidently they cut it up. On Sunday they sent me a picture of the firewood cut up in the container, the holder it's got it in. So, not real sure on that one.
so I missed a little drama on that one, didn't I?
Yeah, it's all right. We'll address that later.
So we're talking about we're having a feud with a resident over an alley that belongs to the city.
Yeah. And I just need to know where the alley ends and begins. Does that make sense?
So, well, we've got 1 foot right of way on each of their properties.
You would think so. Southport's really weird on how their right of ways. Like South Street, when we did South Street, most people think center of the road out and then your foot. If you look at South Street, it actually goes at an angle. So at one part, there might be 6 foot of easement in your yard, but your neighbor 2 houses down might have 10 feet, just by the way that the road is built. When they plotted a lot of these, one person owned it all, and they said, okay, I'll give you this section, I'll give you this section, I'll give you, and none of them are like the same, right? They're all different. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But like I said, I can't ask the city to pay $10,000 to try and fix a few. So, we'll just keep looking and see what we can do. We've talked to everybody over there, so we'll see. I haven't heard anything new.
All this
this
work
week.
we're putting through this one company, and Brad couldn't come up with somebody that could just come over and do a quick survey on that for us?
Yeah, the problem is the one person is kind of confrontational, so I can see if we did something that it would end up being a legal battle, we'd be in court.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
And I really need something that would stand up in court, not just, the best guess we can get. Because he actually explained how they do the platting, like they would go from the sidewalk on Walnut over as far, then center line, and then he was trying to explain it, I didn't really catch it all, but, so yeah, to get an official legal, if you had to go to court, you're talking $15,500. So we'll keep going at it, but just kind of want to make you aware, I did get the quote, not one I like, but I think that's all I got.
So why is it that those people that are next to Lossingham's after we spend all the money fixing their drainage problems and all this stuff, all of a sudden put their house up for sale?
They still have 3 foot of water in their basement. The way the house sits, the groundwater is 3 feet. They've got 4 sump pumps back there and all that, and she's tired of doing it. They're actually looking at a house that's just on the other side of Derbyshire and the bridge. So they don't want to move far, and they don't want to move out of the city, but she just said, you can't keep it dry. So,
Good luck snowing.
yeah. Well, that's her problem. She's too honest. The people that sold it to her just, oh, we have no water problems. Come on a nice sunny day. That's all I have. Unless somebody else got anything else? Thank you very much.
That was pretty much it. There's a few driveways and roofs, but
Nothing new?
nothing really.
Oh, crap. No, I do have one more thing. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. One more thing. So the handout that I gave you, the redevelopment committee has to figure out how much money they're spending for next year's budget. So there was some things put together to beautify the city, not just the redevelopment area. A presentation was put together to share with all the boards. They're looking for, working together. Is there something that this board can do to partner with the RDC? I know they're going to the Parks Board during their meeting. So since this is the first meeting of the month, you are the first ones to see it. So what I'd like for you to do, if you would for me, please, is just look at it. I think there's a lot of good ideas in there.
Yeah.
I know when I spoke with the chairman yesterday, I believe it was, we talked about like the trash cans. Those are a little difficult since we have a part-time maintenance person and responsibility of emptying those trash bags. But like the flags, I know we've looked at flags before to hang. If you've ever been through New Palestine, they got really cool flags as you drive down the main street. Looks pretty.
Yeah, put those trash cans out, what's going to keep these, they already keep stealing our Southport signs.
They don't like the mayor on that corner, do they?
No?
Southport Madison, they don't like it. They keep taking that sign. It did have bullet holes in it the other day, I forgot to tell you that. So, we're gonna start hitting that more promotional for those signs, okay?
Well, I don't think there were bullets.
Stealing trash cans, you're going to have to change.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they'll have to, well, and if you look, when you look through this, it has mounting brackets for it so we can mount it to the concrete so it doesn't grow feet and walk away.
Take off.
But there's like message boards and stuff like that, that I think would be beneficial. But when you look through it, if you get towards the back of it, like, Board of Public Works, is in blue. So, the things that they want to like try and do, your total cost is $2,927 is what they're asking the board to support or help with. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the proposal's put together very well. If, just take a look at it, and if we can kind of, you have questions and stuff next meeting, we
Yeah.
can sit and look at it.
Discussion.
Okay, appreciate it. Now, that's all I have, I promise.
Okay. All right, now, you're done with that? Okay. Anyone in the audience have?
I have 3 questions, so hopefully 1 minute per question. The fire hydrant and Partridge and Lotus, any update on that of when it might be uncovered and being used again? Or could be used again?
They didn't call me back, so I'll
Okay.
call tomorrow. I'll get you an answer.
And then how far can cars be parked from the corner?
15 feet.
15 feet back from the stop sign?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. I'll get my tape measure.
Hey, you laugh about that, but we had a house on Pine, or no, it was Church Street, and she kept parking in front of the fire hydrant, and we told her 15 feet, and she couldn't figure it out. So we took a wheel over and spray painted it, and then after about 4 months, when the spray paint went away, she parked next to the fire hydrant again, so she got a ticket. And then she was mad because we didn't go back out and repaint the line. That's true story, yes.
Where is that on Church Street?
That double that we used to have all the problems with,
Oh, gotcha.
right before you get to Hall Street.
Okay.
And then I know
Gotcha.
you mentioned $350 per child this year, and I'd heard some discussion before about that it was going to be like gift cards so parents could just
Yes.
shop. How do we prevent, because I've been in this situation before,
Yes.
like buying alcohol or cigarettes or
Yeah.
things like that with money?
So one of the things so we had the same problem when we took them shopping. The last time we took them shopping, we had 3 mothers come back and try to return the stuff the next day. And Walmart won't let them do that for that type of event. One of the things that I always wanted to do was, most of these kids get these presents 3 weeks before Christmas, and on Christmas Day, they have nothing to open. And so it's always been my push to try to find a way to do that. So we have what really looks really legalized. It says you have to spend it on this, and we make them sign it. But there's really no way for us to do that. Now, the neat thing was last year, we had several families send us videos that morning of the kids opening the presents. And one of the kids said, Mom, Santa actually came this year. So it's always that way, and I try not to let the 3 interrupt the 45 that we actually help, but I really can't anyway.
They are really well vented though.
They are.
With the principal of Southport.
Okay.
Yeah, we use a social worker, so she knows if they're on free lunches. Like she called them, and wanted one kid added, his shoes had holes in them, I mean, stuff like that. And Alyssa can talk to this better because her and Jane do what we call the, what do we call that room? The money room, financial room. So while we're playing with the kids, the parents can go in there so the kids don't know. And then it's like a cry fest in there, so I stay out of it. But yeah, and it's really cool. Like I said, they have wrapping paper for them, tape, bows and stuff. But to answer your question, there's really no good way for me to do it.
They do, the gift cards we get, it will not let them purchase alcohol, tobacco with them. But they could take it by a TV. Right. So there is some safeguards in place that they couldn't at least buy like some of that stuff. But as far as actually spending it for those children versus like themselves, there's no way to control that.
And I think it made a difference with the kids being more in this area.
Yeah.
As in the past when they had been not in this area and they were invested in this area.
Yeah.
I felt like last year that made a difference.
Yeah, it used to be we just took anybody that needed help. But then you had kids that went to the FOP one, they went to the sheriff's one, and then they came to ours, you know. So we really tried to localize it. And it's really cool when you're out driving around and the kids, hey, we were shot with a cop, or, you know, whatever they call it. And the other thing that I like about the way we do it is when you take them shopping, it's so chaotic. Here we spend 2-3 hours just playing games with them and really interacting with them. So, you know, at the end of it, I try to look at it as like we made an impact, we helped the best we can, and I just can't stop the 2 or 3 that, you know, won't go around with the program.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
I think one of the great things about the way that you do it now is that those kids don't realize that they're there because they're being helped. They just think they're going to a fun
It's a party.
event. You know, they get their picture taken with Santa and they play some games and they eat breakfast and, you know, they don't care where their parents are. And, you know, and so it isn't like I feel like when you actually take them shopping, it's like, hey, look, we're poor.
Right.
The police are taking us shopping.
Yeah, we've had a lot of parents say that where, you know, they feel better because it's like, I can do it, you know.
Yeah.
And the one that we had last year that really stuck out was the lady who called her mom when she was in there and said, Mom, we get to go shopping for the kids this year. So, yeah, I tried to just hold on to those. But don't go in that room if you come by, unless you want to cry. She was crying, she's crying, Jane, I'm like, man, I'm staying out of this place. I mean, it was neat though.
It was worth every tear.
It was, yeah. It's cool. It's a cool program. I really like it.
Anything else from anyone? It is 7:53. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Cooper. Can I get a second?
Second, and Mr. Price made one.
Mr. Price, I'm sorry, Mr. Price. And who's seconding?
I
Mr.
am,
Cooney.
is that okay? Right, I'm on Mr. Price too.
All those in favor say aye.